Hello again. This time I wanted to look at the breakdown and context, or in this case the complete lack of it, and indeed in most cases the complete lack of it. How each word needs to be taken out of the clue, how the clues are used to fool you. I've said it before, this is a really nice example because I did it wrong myself for a few seconds and went, oh no, I get what I've done there, and had to go back, take a word out of the clue and assess it on its own merits. So I'll show you what I mean. Inspector with swagger arresting second suspect. 8 letters. Inspector with swagger arresting second suspect. Now, first of all, of course, you're looking for your definition, as ever. One end or the other. Suspect is a possibility. Second suspect, I cannot think of a single word that would represent that as an answer. So your only option at this end is suspect. Inspector is entirely possible as well, but it's very, very frequently used, and in terms of a lot of police are as well, as a piece of functionality. So it's highly likely when you see that it's going to substitute for something, and it's very often DI, Detective Inspector. Morse was a DI, I think. Anyway, lots of ones on TV are. So Inspector is very frequently DI, which makes me start to look down this end for the definition. Now, because I read it, I deliberately read it like this because that was how I read it first time when I saw it in the paper. Observer again, same one as last week. Inspector with swagger arresting second suspect. Now, because it's read like that, because it's written like that, you're thinking suspect, a person, not suspect, or suspect, an adjective meaning dodgy. So you have 3 possible readings of that: the person, the verb, the adjective. And it's written in such a way as to suggest the person, and so that's the road you go down straight off. And the important thing is, as soon as you know second suspect can't be your definition, so this word, however you want to emphasize it, is your definition, forget all of this. Forget all of this and start the back of your mind running on only what that word could substitute for, what that word could be another meaning for, in any of its senses. Forget the context it's in, because that is going to lead you down the wrong road. Possibly the right road, if the setter's being kind. 9 times out of 10, it might be a nice little sleight of hand to send you off down the noun route when you should be over here. So, once you know that's definition, second, very frequently just an S, minutes, seconds, hours, SMH, MSH, you know what I mean. Then you have to break down the rest, so you've got DI. This arresting is quite likely to be functionality, so because the reason it's likely to be functionality is because there aren't enough letters to have another word for arresting. I think that's a gerund, so you have to have an ing substitution, so you have to have nicking or stealing, not stealing, nicking or catching or something in the middle of an 8-letter word. So it's pretty much impossible that is going to be a part of the clue. It must be doing something to something else. So it's very likely that this is arresting this, catching it, going around it. So you've got DI from inspector. Because of the order of the clue, DI is very likely to come first. You've probably got an S in there somewhere, and what's arresting that S, what's going around it, is the swagger. Strut, swagger, strut, arresting second, S, inspector at the start. Inspector, DI with swagger, strut, arresting the S. Suspect, distrust. Not suspect as in the person who is likely to have committed a crime. Not suspect as in likely to be faulty. Suspect, distrust as a verb. And that is the importance of, as soon as you think something is your definition, take it out of the clue. In fact, it's the same with every part. As soon as you think you know what it's doing, take it out and play with it, because otherwise, if you try and work with it as a sentence, you'll be off down all sorts of wrong routes. So yes, distrust every piece of the clue and the clue makeup as a whole. Take the pieces out, have a look at them, put them back in. Okay? Happy solving.